Please welcome back John Lydon.
Please! I seem to be morose at first half, was I not? But that's how I feel tonight, right? I'm trying to relate this to you, that I do as my body tells me to, right? And tonight I wanted to tell those kind of stories. This is a 54-day-long event. And so every night I approach it slightly differently because I can't work with a script, as Country Life Butter found out. That was hilarious, that. How did I end up promoting butter? The most anarchistic thing that ever happened in my whole life was Country Life. There was no way I took that serious, right? No way. And Mr. Rambo, the manager, go on, John, you can do it. So we took the meeting. And away all these, like, the heads of promotion, some leader of the dairy board, real, corporate people. And they say to me, like, we've got some basic script ideas. So I thought, here's my opportunity. I don't work with scripts. Great, John. Great, John. Oh, fucking hell, from there on in I was trapped. And a matter of weeks later, right, we found ourselves at 5:30 in the morning, turning up at a field in Oxfordshire, a farm, right? And they've got their rows of cameras and all their equipment and everything ready. I mean, really seriously, it looked like proper, like they were making a serious movie here. Right? And they go, well, rolling, there's the field, no script, go for it. And so there were some cows in said field, so Johnny goes running over to them. The cows were unamused, and the next scene is I heard the cows chasing Johnny across the field. Great, they're happy. We're now promoting Country Life Butter. And it went on like that all day long, different ideas, and like you're just having fun with it. And they were so happy with that. And the thing is, like, you have to go into these things like not completely dumb and oblivious, but I'd spent years watching British TV adverts, and I loved every single one of them, from Fry's chocolate cream to God knows what else. What was the song from the Fry's chocolate cream? It was sung so out of tune, it was beautiful. Oh God, I can't remember it now. Please, where are you? Oh, the carpet advert. This is a carpet you can afford, my silver lord. Well, when I was young, we didn't know what carpets were, and we thought that was the most stupidest waste of time. Why would you put a woolen blanket on the floor with your hobnail boots marching up and down on top of it? You know, I suppose like underprivileged, but the 60s was like that. It was introducing product to us, and that's what TV was doing. Only the script writing was so witty and good that you lost the plot with the product and you just enjoyed the chaos that was on the screen. And so that's what we did with Butter. I made it up as I went along, but based all a hell of a lot on old Norman Wisdom films. And there it is, the campaign went out. Improved sales by 87%. Yeah, so suddenly I'd become the hero of British dairy farming. Not bad for a bit of anarchy. that led to other things, much more insane situations, which we called the butter wars. Because other butter companies then wanted to have a dig, didn't they? Because why weren't you promoting our product, like Kerrygold, for instance, right? Which is on the rise at the time. Were sending emails and letters to us along the lines of, and I'm sure they didn't mean it this way, but it read like an IRA death threat letter. No, over butter. Air New Zealand kicked us off because their hostesses, we used to always fly Air New Zealand, it was cheap. For a band, that's, you know, the way to go. Find an airline that will take all of your equipment and all of your package deal. Well, that ended. So just the hostess came up and went, I've seen that advert, why didn't you promote New Zealand butter? Well, the simple answer is, because none of you cunts asked me. That's how it's first come, first served. So, to this day, Dairy Lead, Country Life, why, rub it all over. There's beautiful bloody laugh in this too. There's John's so angry. Hungry, not angry, he's always angry. I was supposed to just butter some scones and go, yum. Crumpets, there you go, the manager has spoken. And I took hours, because I was fucking starving, hungry. And I would fluff every scene just so I could eat more crumpets with butter. It did wonders for my image. But on top of that, I mean, as I said, bloody hell, we did wonders for them as a company, and I've got to say, they're the only corporation that's ever showed any support or faith in me at all. That includes all the record labels you care to mention that I've had the displeasure of having to endure. So God bless them, because that money then went into us reforming Public Image Limited and form our own company. We able to form our own record company, our own label, right? And not have to answer to anybody ever again. So, thank you, Country Life. What I keep saying, you know, what looks like a bad situation will turn out well if you have the patience to wait for it, as Norman Wisdom did in his famous film about being in a hospital. There's nothing wrong with me. Right? And keep that always in your mind. British comedy has been telling you some wonderful things about what we are as British, our culture. Belongs in comedy, not the comedy of political intellectuals. Peace. It's question time. I did question time, didn't I? What a giggle. Oh, God's sake. It was lucky we made that, because there was some serious rains going on and flooding, and the show was in Derbyshire, right? And the whole county was flooded. It was really lucky we got there, or unlucky for them. But it was an interesting show to do, question time. It was odd that they allowed someone like me on. I don't know who they've had on before, but they've had a lot of entertainers on since. But I don't think any of them talk anything like proper common sense, because they don't approach life from a sense of community. They approach life from a sense of privilege. So fuck off, pop world. Right? Don't be questioning them, they've got no answers. Here's the first question.
Do you know what you are going to say next?
No. If I did, I mean, that would be psychic and a half, wouldn't it? Yes. Or as I prefer to think of psychics like they're bicyclists. Have you all watched Most Haunted programs like that? Do you seriously believe that bunch of clawed hoppers falling over themselves in the dark, going, oh, the wooden ceiling creak, fuck, it's a ghost. You know, is that it? How are they experts at anything except tomfoolery and fleecing? Do you know they offered us once, right? Oh, you love this, right? So John took the phone call. They asked for me to go on. So Rambo said, yeah, that's fine. Right? And they said, no, he's going to be scared, he's going to be scared. No, he's not. So my asking price was 2 crates of lager, possibly some rough stuff, a little bit of stay awake all night, and the worst, most horrific dungeon you could find to put me in, utterly, completely alone, and I'd be very happy. Who would doubt that then? Because they knew that nothing would happen. Do I believe in ghosts? I've got one simple problem, right, with that. It's like, I'm paying the fucking rent, you're not. Fuck off, boogeyman.
Carol asks about the art from the first half. What piece of art are you most inspired by? Do you have a favourite?
What, from other people?
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought about it like that. It's been suggested, and it's not a bad suggestion actually, that this might be related somehow to that Morgue painting, Scream. There's a young girl with her hands in her head and she's screaming and there's a pier and there's raging seas. I like that painting very much, but this, unlike that painting, is full of detail and information where you don't have to imagine, it's given to you, eh? And you can find somewhere in here your own past, your own history. And for me, that's what proper art should be doing, translating some seriously good information to you and let you interpret it the way you want, rather than a daub on a canvas made by someone who's sponsored by millionaires. Peace to art.
Jules asks, if you could relive any moment in your life again, what moment would you relive?
Oh, the last time I had good sex. And you know, times are hard, so it had to involve a hotel face cloth. A little bit of lotion. They don't supply too much these days, do they? No, memories, I don't want to relive any of them. Right? Some of them are great enough to stand up in my mind forever and ever and a day, and that's great, and I don't need to go back and revisit that. I certainly don't need to go back and revisit the extremely painful ones either. So it's like, with me, hindsight does me no good, right? I'm always looking forward. I'm naked in this back of the woods, and that's how I like it. Quelle surprise. Right? Whatever you've got to offer, life, I'll take it. Head on. That's how I am. And I hope you understand that that's not me being a problem. That's, I love human nature so much, right? And it took so many years for me to find out what my nature was again, with memories returning. And that's why to this day, I do not like liars or fake anything at all because of the damage as people that lied to me when I had no memories, what they'd done to me. How dare they misdirect me? I'll never forgive them, and that takes me, of course, to nuns and the Catholic Church. Ooh, you ready for this one? My mum taught me how to read and write by 5, right? That's because I was fascinated with the shapes of letters on the newspapers that my dad was reading. And to learn that those shapes, each shape had a different sound. This utterly fascinated me as a young kid. And to this day, I think that that's the best way to approach teaching someone to read and write, is let them watch it artistically, enjoy the shapes and learn that those have sounds to them, rather than A, B, C, D. You know that moronic way that the schools will teach you? However, there I was, fluent in reading and writing, and the Catholic nuns that were running the school said, "Hello children, would you like to write your name on this piece of paper?" Of course I did. "Hello, my name's John, I live down the road." And for that, the nuns flew into a fury, because I was left-handed. The sign of the devil. The sign of the devil. Das ist der Teufel. And that meant, from that moment on, if I ever used my left hand, I would be hit with the sharp end of a ruler continuously until I learned to write with my right. So my methodology to get out of that situation was I just played completely dummy dum dum. And in fact, that's the name they gave me, the nuns, dummy dum dum. As I wouldn't contribute to that evil nonsense. They were telling me, as representatives of God, that my nature was evil. What a load of fucking cunts. The smell of them women. Now, you know, these were really seriously vindictive creatures. They wore these enormously thick black woolen capes that went all the way down to the ground, right? There was very little of a face you could see except this severe hatred of little boys. Right? And the rosary beads they wear around their waist were made of cannonballs. They just loved to slap you as you walked by with them. Fucking great, hey? But the worst aspect of them all was the way that they would lean into you. Now, I was what? This high at the time, hey? How tall is a nun? Where is my nose pointing at? Seepage. Them nuns fucking smell bad. I don't know what it is they used to get up to, flapping their lettuce like that night. But it stunk to high fucking heaven. Brussels sprouts was in there too. A bit of cottage pie from last week. The stink of them, the smell, and these are the very vile creatures telling me I was evil because I was left-handed. They're wanting me to join the school choir, to be closer to God. Bollocks, to be closer to the priest. And then again, it's the same height. Only with a different set of tools. So I spent all my early years deliberately not learning how to sing. And so I'd like to say, all those years of that Catholic torture is what led to that fantastic singing voice called Johnny Rosman Sex Astounding, isn't it? See, so I keep saying saying, you know, what seems like a booby trap. Just have more patience than a hospital, and life will come round, and you'll learn to use it to your benefit. There you go. What's the next question?
Mick says, the pistols, are they done?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking hell. I don't mean to be an egomaniac about this, but I did write all your fucking songs and give you an image. Alright? And you're going to go off and attempt a TV series deliberately not involving me. You evil fucking sad sacks. It's unacceptable. They're pissing on us, right? You're the fans. You bought these records way back then. You believed what I said, and I believed what I said, and I still do, and you still do. You know I never told a lie. Now, legally, they're going to tell you a lie. And they're going to re-represent history in a Danny Boyle on the bum way. How is that ever going to be fucking good? Right? But this is the world we live in. Right? I couldn't fight the Disney Corporation in court. I put up a bloody good effort and it's almost bankrupted me. But so what? Right? I made the point. Right? Money don't matter to me. Fucking principle of it does. Values. And you know what? Still, to this day, nothing's been shown to me. I have no idea what it is they're doing. Right? With my songs, my image, my anything. It's, you know, c'est la vie, you fucking cunts.
Zoe wants to know, how do you have your tea?
What? Oh, what?
Zoe says, how do you like your tea?
Oh, how do I like my tea? In a cup, usually. I think that's like funny in that way. My favourites are Yorkshire, right? I got to say, although I've been up and down the hills and dales of Yorkshire and I've yet to see a tea farm, they must keep them well hidden off the highways. I like it with a little bit of skimmed milk and I don't like sugar in anything. Alright, there you go. And so strong you could trot a horse across the top of it.
Do you have a favourite insect?
Yeah, praying mantis is my favourite insect. Right? It's so stunning and beautiful and terrifying and lethal and fearless. It's just amazing things to watch. I suppose the first time I came across them really was in Africa. Right? You know, doing them nature programs, they would just think, yeah, you put your finger near one and it's going, fuck off you. Really fearless. And then years later, there was an advert on the internet. It said, buy some praying mantis larvae and they'll get rid of the bugs in your garden. I did, right? And 200 praying mantises went next door in a heartbeat. They have no loyalty.
Gareth asks, what advice, if any, would you give to the young Johnny Rotten?
Oh, come on, as if he'd listen. And as if this one would have the audacity of hindsight. You know, I like that little whippersnapper I was very much indeed. And I would think he would like me, because the whole point and purpose of living is to learn more, improve yourself, and be better and better and better at what it is you are until the day you die. I ain't fucking planning on dying.
Jules asks, living in America, happy there?
Yeah, I like America. I do. It's as yet an unexplained country. It hasn't quite worked itself out as to what it is culturally, and that makes it incredibly interesting. The difference between one state and another is really, really impressive. And when you tour there, which I love to do on a tour bus, I'm just all the time out the window looking at not only the scenery change, but the cultures. America is a wonderful mix of many, many different cultures. It doesn't need to have a one uniform approach to life, and this is why I despise politicians, because that's exactly what they want America to be, just one way. Fuck off, I want all ways. Thank you, people, all ways. As a species, the thing that makes us so incredibly significant is our differences. And I cannot live in a world of bland shopping malls with everyone wearing Nike. This is not for me, and it shouldn't be for you either. So there you have it. Variety is the spice of life. That's what the judge is going to tell my wife. It's a Dawes record.
Duff, from the class of 77, says, what do you miss most about Sid?
Oh God, his sense of humour. He was a witty, witty bloke. Dumb as a doorbell. But my mate, loyal and a giggle, you know, you don't all have to be ultra smart. I'm John and I accept people for what they are. I don't make judgments. My friends are very varied across all manner of opinions and illusions and aspirations. And that's how it works best. And me and Sid were like very opposite in so many different ways, but we understood who the enemy were. And fortunately for us, it was Malcolm.
Kev asks, when the Pistols were together, what percentage did the band get?
Oh, I think you might be referring to publishing here. When the Pistols first started, and the publishing offer was on the table, now I think it's 60% goes to the songwriter, and the rest to those guys that bash things and twang them in the corner of the band. I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have that. I insisted it was equal shares. And that's been my way all across the board. All across the board with the Pistols, and it's a shame that they never respected that and have turned on me for insisting that we have unanimous votes on things, which means nobody gets left behind. Nothing is done if it upsets any one of us. Well, they're now of a different opinion, and they're quite happy to upset the fuck out of me. That's a shame. It is what it is. I've carried this philosophy through, equality in all things. I think it works best in bands because it stops egomaniacs taking over, you know. Like, well, I don't know off the top of my head, I'd say the Smiths and what Morrissey got up to. But for me, equal shares. But with Peel now, I have to raise the money independently beforehand, and I would like that paid before we went into equal shares again. I had this problem when I first started Peel, that it was equal publishing, but all the bills were mine, and I found that very unfair. Right? And so it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other as to how you approach these situations. I'm generally speaking gullible enough to believe that we all care about each other equally, but fuck fuck off, man. I'll tell you the truth's a little bit different when it comes to band members. Right? But there's 49 people who went through Public Image at one time or another. Every single one of them has been able to launch a career of their own and go on to create things which they never had before. So Public Image to me has always been, accidentally, but this is how it is, like a school of music, an education system where you can learn from each other and then branch out individually. And that's been the love and point of it all. As I said, all these different members taking us up to this current point, there really is no such thing as a bad pill record. There cannot be, because community is what pervades throughout it. Where the combination of its elements. So thank you, pill fans. I love ya very much.
Ali says, if politicians are so bad, how about putting someone like Jurgen Klopp in charge?
Oh, the hippie that moved into Liverpool. I remember the first week he signed, right? And there was a picture of him sitting cross-legged on a couch with his shoes off and saying how he was going to, well, basically bring ballet back to the masses. He's bloody brilliant. I wish he was at Arsenal. I would have had a very different opinion about modern football with him. But still, he's still part of the problem. And I would like Liverpool to go down with us. Because us proper fans are what really matters in the end, not those millionaires. All right, my friends?
From Steve and Jane, and they ask about the left field collaboration and how that came about.
Oh, in left field, yeah. Oh, Neil and Paul, very good friends. It took a couple of years to get that together because I just, I don't do things like that very easily. And their original rhythm that they sent me was just too slow. And so Neil came over one night and we were drinking and we just sped the bloody tape up and went, oh fucking hell, let's record this Friday. And that's what we did. It's a simple thing, right? But the beat of a record can make an enormous amount of difference. And that was a lovely record to have achieved. And we did it all in one night, right? Open up, and the lyrics I loved, open up, make room for me, right? But there was also the refrain of burn, Hollywood, burn. Now this came back to fucking haunt me. Because as you know, when you make records, it takes a long time because of the manufacturing process and the rights and just that and the other and the distribution before it's finally released. Well, in America, it was released 2 weeks before the infamous Hollywood fires took over and just about destroyed half the landscape. And so the record was banned and I was accused of profiteering from other people's calamities. Right? Fucking hell, how's that for bad luck? Hey, a most excellent record. Right? But the knocks were put on it. So, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I mean, you still remember it, and I think you'll remember that a hell of a lot more than you will anything in the top 30 for the last 10 years.
Chris says, Pretty Vacant resonated with teenagers so much. Does that still resonate with you now?
Well, I hope so. And it goes back to my dad's, yeah, fucking cunt. Rhymes with pretty vacant. that was a collaboration with Glenn, right? We were having trouble with me and Glenn in the band. And I couldn't really see eye to eye. He wanted the band to be like a kind of a mod version of the Bay City Rollers, you know, all flopsy and everybody ever so happy. Well, the problem with that was that I'd written all the songs and not one of them fitted that fucking category. So we came in, we wanted, oh yes, to get this vision of like mods, you know, wearing pink suede shoes, waltzing through Soho, being oh so pretty and, you know, vague, and I turned it around to pretty vague cunt. And that's the one that sold. Alright? And, oh, there was a Man City supporter here earlier. Where are you? Oh, there you are, sir. Oh, he was so fun. Hello. Hello, my mate. He said, what a shame that we turned that into a football chant. We did too. Arsenal, us lot, right? We're so pretty, we hate Man City, we're Ireland, and we go spare. God bless you, sir. Shake my hand. Come on. Love you too. Very lovely. Alright, see, it takes all sorts, right? We all have different allegiances, but we are community after all. Thank you. Next question.
Andy Fez says, do you think the Sex Pistols should have represented Britain in the Eurovision Song Contest?
Don't know about that one. But years later, an Irish magazine approached us and said, would Pill represent Ireland in the Eurovision Song Contest? We were more than happy to say yes. And then they kind of got wind of what we were really all about, and they kind of went nowhere fast. I don't know what Eurovision Song Contest thing is really all about. I mean, some of you are as old as me, and you'll remember that, was it Sandy Shaw was ripped off by these cunts? and Cliff Richards, another, right? These were definite surefire hits, but not to the Euro community. So fuck off, I'm with Cliff and Scylla and Sandy.
Time for two more. Roger says, how have your recording contracts changed from the first one for the Pistols to the way you operate in Pill?
God, I thought I was so clever when I was young, like, oh yes, I can read this. Oh, no. Listen, boys and girls, no matter how smart you are, you cannot read the lies they print, right? You cannot. It's outrageous what it is you think you're agreeing to as to what it actually is. Every contract the record industry throws at you is corrupt from top to bottom. There is not one single part of it where you can actually say is beneficial to you. Right? And how have I learned this? Well, through experience. So now we're our own label. Well, we don't send each other dodgy contracts anymore. We live now outside of what we call the shit stump, and it's the better place to be. All those institutions are guaranteed to fuck you over and take you on. I've had enough of all of it, really. And I suppose we're the worst institution by way of, this is an odd connection for you, but the BBC. You know, they're hand in toe with record labels. If they don't promote your record, it's because the record company doesn't want it promoted. So years ago, catching on to this stuff, I'm doing an interview with, it was Tommy Vance, and he's telling me that my music and my ideas is threatening family values. while hiding the fact that Jimmy Savile is a pig. And I hope you agree with me, at the time I just felt I had to let that one out. Right? So, here at the BBC, and we'll never see eye to eye. You know, they're almost forced into doing interviews with me now, but for several years they banned me completely. My records would not be played. And that's the crossover between Sex Pistols to Public Image. You could not hear us on the airwaves. He hasn't done me no wrong, you fucking cunts.
Last one is from Steve Higginson, and he says, in 1976-77, could you ever have imagined you'd be sitting on a red armchair in a venue in Warrington, looking out at a seated audience?
Well, of course. Psychic bicycle. We're back to Most Haunted. Yes, sir. How's your beer? Oh, that's a dangerous one to talk about, isn't it? Because, well, no, let me sit down and I'll explain. All right? That was good, working with Bambata, because the bloke that brought it up, shut up, you fucking big mouth, was Bill Laswell, who I went on to make album with Bill, right? But Bill Laswell said, like, no, you two are outsiders, you might enjoy each other's company, and we did. And we made Time Zone, and it was a fucking magnificent, tough record. This is the early days of what they now call hip-hop. In them days, it would be closer to the Jamaican toasting. Right? There really wasn't a hip-hop title or category for it. Fantastic record, lovely, and went on, as I said, to work with Bill Laswell in quite a few other projects. I loved Bambata very much, very gentle man. He had a wonderful sense of community, just like my own, which he called in New York the Zulus, the Zulu Nation. And they united all the different warring gangs into just focusing around music and stop shooting and stabbing each other in the streets. The problem being, as of recently, somebody's raised the allegation of child molestation against poor old Bambata. And it's like, you know, I hope that not be true, right? But that accusation world is always out there, and sometimes it just might be true. But mostly, I think it's not, because there's a lot of money to be made of accusing famous people of anything you like. Right? And it's a difficult world. There's been shit thrown at me over the years, being called racist, for instance. It's like, how the fuck you work that one out? And my grandkids are from Jamaica, right? My brother's married to a Mexican girl, her father's Japanese. You know, like we've got both Catholic and Protestant in our family. We're as mixed up as you could possibly get. But this is the world now. Accusations count for more than truth. Which takes me to Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter did the most loveliest thing in the world for my mum when he found out that she was dying of stomach cancer. Right? He sent an invite to me to bring the family to see him play at the Rainbow Astoria Theatre in Finsbury Park, which is just across the road from the council flats that I grew up in there. The second half of my life, after Benwell Road, all right? I thought that was magnificent, but at the same time I had doubts because I was trying to be big, tough Johnny Rotten. And how was I going to deal with this man looking like a fucking chicken in a... Tin foil. You put that aside, right? That's what you do. And my mum was ecstatic. Just what a great thrill to go see Gary Glitter. Right? My dad went, I'm not going to that man's a fucking contributor. So it ended up with just me and my mum. And we went over and we were treated like, well, my mum was like a major celebrity. He couldn't have done anything more nicer and kinder and sweeter and generous. He made her night, and on top of that, after the show, took us both out to Tramps, right? A top-class nightclub that the likes of me would never get into in my entire life, even to this very day. It's a no-no. But he took us there, arranged a lovely late-night supper for her. I mean, my mum was in heaven with the generosity of it. And the highlight was, because I'd mentioned to him earlier somehow that my mum loved Georgie Best, and that's who came over and sat next to her, Georgie Best, the footballer. Wow! Now, yes, I'm Arsenal, whatever. Stop it. That man was one of the world's best footballers ever, and comes from a period that I love about football. And to see my mum and Georgie Best there, just chin wagging away. What a delicious fucking pleasure Gary Glitter gave us that night. Now, I met him years later. This was in a hotel in Manchester. I was with Pill, we were waiting to do a gig beforehand, we met at the bar. Gary Glitter turns up, he comes running over, he goes, yes, drinks are on me, we all have a drink, because he was a very sociable chap. I'll tell you, very friendly. But in came, oh God, you've got to remind me of the name, I keep forgetting their name. Bronski Big, right, walks in. Does anyone remember that? Small Town Boy, I think it was called. The singer sang in a, whoa, so high his testicles have been cut. That's it, Jimmy Somerville. And Gary Glitter stands up and he goes, whoa, watch your backs, bums against the wall. And points at the Bonsky Beaties. So he had a fucking tasty sense of humour, you would think, politically incorrect by nowadays standards. But then now the child molestation things and him going off to foreign parts and he looks like a very different animal to the person I once knew. Is that progress? Right? Or was that always in him? I don't know. But there was a time where he was a very, very kind, nice, excellent human being. And so judge, yes, right? Judge harshly for his current crimes, but always remember that there's a human being in that too. And that most child molesters, whether it be known or not, were usually molested themselves when they were young. So it's a disease, right? And that connects me with him and the Catholic Church and what those fucks tried to turn us into when we were young. So I have a place in my heart for Gary, all right? Peace. And if you don't like that, peace off. And?
You've answered all the questions.
Oh, did I? Oh, fucking hell. I suppose it's time to say goodbye. Somebody asked me, and I don't do repeats, and I've done it before, but I just asked about Sid. It was Sid's favourite band, and here's the story about Sid that you want to know about Sid. Was ABBA. Oh yeah. So we're at an airport in Stockholm. All flights are cancelled because, would you believe it, it was snowing in Sweden. Sid got extremely drunk. We all like to drink our ale. Sid in his studded leather jacket was covered from head to toe in vomit. and he spots across the road at the airport ABBA. And they're in their nice white fur coats and fur caps, and he goes running up to them, and he goes, ABBA! They did not take kindly to Sydney. His favourite band rejected his pile of vomit. And to this day, I swear, if there's a squirrel in heaven looking after Sid, because let's be honest, he looked like one. ABBA broke his heart. So could you please stand up for Sydney? And sing for Sydney. I need to hear you. He was covered in vomit and shite. It's Sydney. Come on, you know the words. You've all been to Benidorm. You've gone shy of me. All right. God bless you. I won't carry on singing because you won't. And that's how it works. God bless, Babby. There was something in the air that night. The stars shone bright. What's in here? They were shining in the wind and shine. And all of light. What's in If I had to do the same again, I would again. What's in There was something in the air at night. The stars shone bright. What's in here? They were shining for you and me, for liberty and May the road rise with you, and your enemies always be behind you. May they scatter, flatter, batter and shatter, because anger is an energy.